Tell us a little bit more about your role in your playing days, and then provide us one lesson that had a positive influence on your business or on you as a business person.
Okay. All right, I'll start. So maybe a little bit more about me. So I played at Iowa State from 1996 to 2000, and Jeff spoke about adversity, and I actually chose adversity. When I was deciding where to go to school, Iowa State was bad at football, and Coach McCarney had just gotten there, but he had a blueprint for the future that was different, and he wanted to change the culture and set the bar high. So through my first 4 years, I redshirted my first season. I played in 30 games and played as a freshman, blew out an ACL, MCL, both cartilages, the game of the year. That sucked. But, we knew that it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be a long road. And my senior year, we go 9-3, and win the first bowl game in school history. And people ask me things like, wow, you must be really proud of that. And I am proud of that, but I'm proud of all of those people that I worked with and that went before and that taught me how to do things the right way when I was a freshman and a sophomore and a junior. I helped Valley for 11 seasons. I coached for 11 seasons at Valley. We won 5 state championships in that period. And people say, wow, that's amazing. You must be really proud of that. And I'm actually really proud of that, but I also am every bit as proud of all those teams that didn't win because we were doing the right things all the time. And I think the lesson that's translated for me into business and life really is that lesson that people on the outside measure your success by winning and losing. People on the inside of a locker room or a team or a business have to measure themselves based on the work that you're doing. How are we holding ourselves to this standard? Sandy talks about the bulldog way. How are we holding ourselves accountable to each other to do things right when things are going really well and when things aren't? And that's how you achieve, and that's how you start to get those results that everybody else on the outside can see.
So it's tough to follow Ben. I get to play basketball both at Dowling High School, and Jerry Deegan's in the room. He actually saw me play. I think it's my first time I ever did. So I have to pull back my embellishments on my high school career. And then I went on to play at Simpson College for a guy named Bruce Wilson. My role in that team, as Jason kind of alluded to, was I was not a scorer. I was an undersized post player at 6'4". I always played against guys that were taller than I was. My role was to rebound and play defense and guard those bigger guys. Coach Wilson always told me that, he'd call me sad, you've got to play bigger than you are. And that's kind of the one thing that I keep in my mind as my career has progressed. Play bigger than you are. Don't be intimidated by competitors that may bring more resources to the table. Utilize your strengths that you have, whatever those may be, and that'll guide you to success.
Right. Good morning. Can you hear me okay back there? Okay. Up? Oh, it's good. Okay. So, how many people here played or participated in organized sports? Yeah, just about everybody. So, number one, we all know what happens to a person when they put a whistle around their neck, right? So, they become very powerful people. So think about, when you think about business, think about how you lead. Do you lead with a whistle? Or do you lead otherwise? So I just thought of that, so I thought I'd start out with that. But I shared with some of the panel this morning that I had the honor of being honorary captain for the Iowa State game in 2010, which we won. Iowa won. But I was visiting with the team the evening before following practice. It's one of the things they ask you to do when you're the honorary captain, and it's kind of intimidating. You've got all these athletes. They just got done with a walkthrough type practice, and they're very well behaved. They all come over. Adrian Claiborne and some other big names you'd know. take a knee 5 feet in front of me, and I'm supposed to expound pearls of wisdom, get them all excited about tomorrow. But what I shared with them is how different the game of football, or being a student athlete, is today from when some of us participated. And if you just think as simply as there were no cell phones, there wasn't an internet, no Twitter, no Facebook. So it's dramatically different. So the reason I pointed that out is because you missed, I can't lie about my stats. I was pre-internet, so I thought I could make all my stats up. You left out the 3-time consensus All-American. No, I'm just teasing. What's that? That's in the press release, yeah. So they did a good job of summarizing my career, but it was really fun. One of the things that's fun about having the opportunity to play at the college level is the recruiting process and being courted and then making the decision on where you want to play. And I think I was just a state kid, wanted to stay in Iowa. And so that led me to what I think is a very unique opportunity that I had that a lot of people didn't have, is I got to play for 2 coaches. So and you see 2 different people with 2 completely different skill sets and capabilities. I played from 76 through 80. And my first 3 years, the head coach was Bob Cummings. And he was hired from, I believe it was Massillon, Ohio, high school football coach. Brought a lot of his high school assistants with him. Bob played football at Iowa. He was a very undersized guard, like 165 pounds back in the 50s. But I think he was all Big Ten. So no one wanted to win at Iowa more than Bob Cummings. He would have chewed his left arm off to win. Now, fast forward to my senior year, and I see the picture of this individual in the paper, a square-jawed, mustachioed, former Marine Texan that gets hired as the Iowa football coach, Hayden Fry. So as an incoming senior, I wanted to go over and introduce myself to him. And the difference was just kind of remarkable. And I think back about the capabilities of those 2 and what differentiated success versus trying hard and not having success was really the one primary factor of surrounding yourself with great people. And if you think back about Hayden Fry and his legacy and the people that coached with him and played for him, just think of the coaching tree that he has spread out throughout the NCAA, including McCarney and Snyder and Alvarez, and you go down the list. So if there's one takeaway for me from what I learned from football and how you translate that into business, is surround yourself with the very best people.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Drake University for the fine education I got there. Certainly well before the current group that is here today, but I've certainly kept in close contact. And I want to also state that David Maxwell, Sandy Hatfield Club are doing a terrific job at Drake University, and couldn't be happier with what they're doing. So keep it up. Now back to the old days, which is when I played. I graduated in 1970, and Drake University was a different place back then. The Missouri Valley Conference was a tougher basketball league. They had teams like Louisville and Cincinnati. It was considered one of the toughest teams or toughest leagues to play in. So looking back at what it's like to be a freshman going to Drake University, I came from Marengo, Iowa, a small town in Iowa, and now it's going to be teamed with people from all over the country, a diverse background. Some of my teammates from Houston, San Francisco, New York City, people I'd never met anybody from places like that, and so you get a diverse group, and we're all supposed to be a team. There's a little underlying factor here, and we're all trying to be the starter of a team, and there's maybe 12 players. So you have a little bit of a conflict there. You want to be the starter, but you want to have the other team. So you have to learn to play together and sort of be the you sort of sometimes take the back seat, be the second team, be the player that doesn't get a play, you work your way up. And you have to really, it's all about team. So the business of real estate is a little bit like that. There are 1,200 real estate agents in Des Moines. We're all competing for the same customers, yet we can help each other by showing and selling each other's listings. So it's a little bit like that. It's a bit of competition, a little bit of cooperation, and just the way it is in business, and the way it is in sports. So it's as working together with a diverse group with a common goal, and in the end, things can turn out great. So yes, that's my lesson. Working in a diverse group and sharing a common goal.